According to a recent data, the Chinese bank deposits increased by 26.3 trillion Chinese yuan, which is approximately $3.9 trillion. In fact, the Chinese have a long history of emphasizing on frugality and savings. In fact, frugality and savings has been so deeply ingrained within the Chinese culture that most of the Chinese families emphasize on long-term savings over immediate spending. And this is mainly because of multiple factors such as global economic instability, government policies, and cultural values. So in this video, we will try to understand the key principles or the key secrets behind the Chinese material financial being and what we can learn from it.
You've just been over to China. I know that you have invested in China over the years. What did you learn from your trip?
I think I learned two things, David. On the plus side, I would say China's back.
Big anniversary in China today. Sumi, today marks 40 years since the country's economy opened up to the rest of the world, a move that ultimately turned China into a global economic powerhouse, second in GDP only to the United States.
We created 14 million jobs for China. We are making all the banks to change.
China's latest quarterly growth figures are out and they're better than expected. The economy grew 4.5% year-on-year between January and March.
The first secret to saving money is frugality. This basically means being mindful of your expenditures and avoiding all the unnecessary spending. In fact, in China, there is a saying which is, it is not about how much you earn, but about how much you save. And this concept of frugality is very deeply ingrained in the Chinese culture and is also reflected in the way people live in China. In fact, the classical Chinese text Tao Te Ching states that the three greatest treasures a person can have is love, generosity, and frugality. And this clearly shows that frugality is a very integral part of the Chinese culture. One more common example amongst the Chinese people is living together under one roof. This not just promotes a strong family bond, but also allows them to cut down on the living costs, and also they avoid eating outside and they prefer cooking meals at home to cut down on the expenditures. In fact, some of the common names of the rich and the wealthy Chinese billionaires who have followed the concept of frugality are Jack Ma, who is the founder of Alibaba.com, and Li Qingdong, who is the founder of JD.com, who has famously said that he does not care about owning luxury goods and prefers to invest in his company instead. The second Chinese secret to saving money is long-term planning. Now, this involves creating a comprehensive financial plan and outlining the objectives and the steps which are required to achieve it. In fact, this long-term planning can even be attributed to the concept of zero-based budgeting, under which your income minus your expenses becomes zero. So basically, by keeping a track of every penny which you are earning and every penny which you are spending, you are not just keeping a track of the short-term goals but also your long-term goals. In fact, in China, it is pretty common for the families to save up for years and sometimes even decades to be able to afford for significant expenses such as a child's education or a marriage or even buying a home. Unlike India, where we choose for the comfortable option of simply taking a loan. The third Chinese secret to saving money is risk management. This practice basically involves identifying and managing the risks in such a way which would impact your financial being, and also involves investing in a manner which not only protects your future but also creates a simultaneously passive income source. In China, people often prioritize security and stability over immediate financial gains, and they take measures to protect their assets and investments in such a way so that they can provide a stable income support during economic downturns. In fact, on a fun note, it is also said that the Chinese during the New Year's Eve, instead of wishing Happy New Year, wish each other may you get rich. The fourth Chinese secret to saving money is the concept called Goanci, which is all about building relationships. In China, it's a very common practice to emphasize and focus on creating and building social connections and relationships because they can help facilitate business and personal success. In fact, the phrase, it is not about what you know, but about who you know, is very well known amongst the Chinese business circles because of the fact that having the right contacts can provide a great deal of assistance in advancing one's career growth and also assist in closing important business deals. In fact, if I was to quote a Chinese professional, it says, your network of relationships is like a bank. Face is the money and giving gifts is the way in which you conduct your deposits and withdrawals. And the last point which is worth noting is the concept of inherited wealth in China. China. Now, 40 years ago, when the Chinese government had implemented the policy of a single child in China, for almost 2 generations, most of the people had no siblings. Also, in general, the majority of the traditional Chinese family preferred having a male child over a girl child, and this gradually over time caused an imbalance in the ratio between men and women. In economic terms, we can call it a gap in the demand and supply. So obviously the male children were under a peer pressure to perform better financially from a very young age. So overall, friends, if you look at all these practices in the Chinese culture, you notice that these concepts like risk management, long-term planning, frugality, and emphasizing on good relationships over time can actually help us also to build wealth and achieve financial success and financial freedom. I really hope you enjoyed these kind of videos. If you do, tell me in the comment section below and I will try my best to create more such videos for you all in the near future. But till then, stay tuned, take care and namaste.